parade, the Bartlett parade, and State Senator Taylor was on the float with me. Morroy was standing on the side of the street. They started engaging with each other like they were best of friends, and I started thinking, what's going on here? I mean, Taylor comes across like he's hard on crime in public, but then get him in a social environment. What's going on? What were you thinking?
I was taunting him and telling him Merry Christmas.
No. It was more than that.
Thank you, Todd. I carry a gun every day too because it's my Second Amendment right, not because I'm a deputy or reserve deputy or whatnot. I'm going to carry a gun, but if I think I'm correct on this, the General Assembly can impeach this guy. The governor needs to call a special session, and let's go in and do some real business instead of passing a voucher scam under a special session.
Jeremy.
I would like to address just for a second, as a law enforcement officer, we have a high and great responsibility to protect those around us. Every Tennessean, every American has the right and deserves to feel protected and safe anywhere they travel in the United States. As a sitting elected official, unfortunately, I just don't see where we have room to taunt those that are in front of us while we have tasked law enforcement officials, the National Guard, and other people in protective services.
You're talking about Justin Pearson.
I'm talking, well, unfortunately, taunting them as a Republican or a Democrat is equally unworthy of the positions we were.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we were just talking about Senator Taylor taunting those who were protesting and using ICE and other metrics to taunt the crowd in front of law enforcement. You do not have the right as a sitting state senator, a state representative, or anybody at the federal level to taunt an already hyperbolic crowd and make it more dangerous for those that are there for your protection.
Senator.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up D.A. Mulroy because no one has fought D.A. Mulroy more than I have. I have fought and didn't back down, and I fought and won against D.A. Mulroy. We actually passed this last session. We passed legislation that provides state oversight over the DA's office. We now have someone in the Attorney General's office that is doing a deep dive, a review of his office, particularly in grant funding, because I believe there are issues with the grants that are being awarded to his particular office. The other thing we did, we have had a lot of arrests with the Memphis Safe Task Force. There have been a lot of treasure and blood and sweat that has gone into reducing crime in Memphis and Shelby County by 50%, Todd. And what I did, I was able to pass legislation that says when the DA downgrades or otherwise refuses to charge people who have been arrested under the Memphis Safe Task Force, he has to document that in writing and provide that to the United States Attorney as well as the Attorney General so that people who are serious about prosecution will actually prosecute those crimes. And so I've said before, Steve Mulroy wants to try to save people. I would encourage him to resign, join the seminary, and he can save souls like all the other pastors, but leave prosecution to the serious people who are serious about reducing crime and putting people in prison.
All right. If you have a question that you would like to ask, all you have to do is pick up your phone and give us a call, 901-260-5926. That number, 901-260-5926. We'll be taking your calls momentarily. Charlotte, you live in the 9th Congressional District. You live in Memphis. I'm just wondering about this Memphis State Task Force. Was it the right decision President Trump made to send in the task force, and has it worked?
You know, the decision that President Trump made was great, and I applaud what he did. The problem is the Memphis Safe Task Force personnel are doing their jobs. They are arresting criminals. Mulroy is still releasing them, is still setting low bonds. So we're still having a problem. Guys, everybody's talking about crime has gone down in Memphis. The fact of the matter is this. When President Trump was here, yes, it was low, around 50%, but now it's gone back up, especially since, it's gotten warm outside. People are out. There are still people in my neighborhood that are shooting guns, that are getting away with crimes. People are safer to an extent, but the problem has not been solved, and nobody has a right to pat themselves on the back and say, I've got the job done, because it hasn't been done.
Todd.
Yeah, I think what President Trump done was the right thing to do, but we didn't have to wait on President Trump. The governor has that authority to send the National Guard over
That's
here.
true.
And we didn't act. Should have went in a special session for that. But no, what do? We pass vouchers. We waste $500 million of your tax dollars on vouchers instead of sending the National Guard.
Well, Todd, let me also say we passed other things. We passed a lot of bail reform. I passed a lot of bills. We ended Tennessee's version of cashless bail. Matter of fact, there was a bill in the legislature that says that you cannot offer cashless bail to anyone who uses a firearm or displays a firearm in the commission of a crime, and Representative Warner voted against that. And so we were doing a lot to reduce crime before the president ever sent the Memphis Safe
You want to
Task
respond to that?
Yeah, I think it's your right to, keep and bear firearms. Certain crimes, if a firearm's present, don't mean that you're a dangerous criminal. But the way that the bill was structured was terrible. It was
It said if you displayed or used a firearm in the commission of a crime, it's not just walking down the street with a firearm. That's perfectly legal. But when you commit a crime and use a firearm or display it, he voted against requiring bail for that person to be released from jail.
I don't remember how he exactly voted, but it shouldn't be a crime for carrying a firearm when when you run a stoplight or you do something that's not a serious crime.
I see Jeremy scribbling furiously over here on the paper. Jeremy, weigh in.
Hey, I think we're missing a lot here in honoring those who are serving on that Memphis Safe Task Force. I mean, I was in the National Guard for 22 years. As I said, I'm a previous law enforcement officer. And when elected officials start making decisions to put those men and women in harm's way, they have a responsibility to support them to the fullest. So one of the things that has bothered me a lot during this process is you can't be the person responsible for that and make a major claim to fame for the Memphis State Safe Task Force and then go out and put those same men and women in harm's way and make their job that much harder by your physical presence and the way you present yourself to those who oppose them.
Senator?
I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm talking about taunting crowds that are already ready to fight. You don't go out and taunt crowds when they're already ready to fight.
Oh,
when you have uniformed protection between you and that crowd.
Yeah,
Don't be tough. Don't be tough when law enforcement officials and the National Guard are there if you're not going to be tough outside their presence.
I experienced it when State Senator Taylor opened his mouth, said something derogatory toward parents, and they wanted to attack me, and they've never wanted to attack me before.
Justin Pearson's behavior is no different and no better, and we have a responsibility to be better than that.
We're going to have to address him
all,
soon.
Todd, I have never gotten up off the House floor and gone to the gallery and stood nose to nose with law enforcement and called him an MF boy. Justin Pearson did that. And
what did you do to hold that accountable?
He's. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do to hold him accountable. He's likely to be the Democrat nominee, and I'm going to take the fight to him when I win the nomination.
We're all going to take the fight to him.
And I'm going to take the fight to him, and I'm going to ensure, Todd, that the only way he ever sees the inside of the United States Capitol is through the visitor center on a guided tour and not through the members-only door. And as it relates to taunting crowds, these crowds show up at Republican events. When we are welcoming the National Guard, the weathered purple-haired hippies show up on a counter-protest, and I'm not afraid of them, whether the law enforcement officers are there or not. You can't fight these socialists by being the nice guy and saying, well, I wish you would please not do that. You can't fight a Soros-funded DA who gives people a warm, hot cocoa, a hug, and ask them not to do it again. You have to take the fight to them, and I've demonstrated, Todd,
nobody's suggesting being soft on the issue.
Well,
what I'm suggesting is you don't make an already bad situation worse when you've got men and women there trying to do their job.
Charlotte Bergman.
I just want to say I've seen him be surrounded by protection. He has to, because he opens his mouth and puts his foot in his mouth, and it offends very much the people in the community, and they just don't like you. They call you racist.
That's because I don't really give a damn what they call me. They can call me racist if they want to. I'm not afraid of that.
But we've got to be united in this community.
What I'm saying is,
a house divided against itself will fail.
Okay. I will take, that's cute. I will take the fight to them. I've already demonstrated that I'm doing that. I'm not afraid to stand up to these weathered purple-haired hippies.
We were at a forum in Savannah, Tennessee with the Farm Bureau. And he's got a story that he's very proud of that he tells all the time about the grit of David Crockett and how he told people to go to hell and he was going to go give the Democrats hell. Well, we didn't tell the same story when we were on the stage with the two running for the same position, and I wondered why. It's because sometimes we find ourselves very tough in protected situations, and then we're not so tough when we're not so protected.